Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to season numero 4 of the Lockdown Freaking podcast. We have made it to season 4. It has been a journey, it has been a ride. Wow. Didn't think I'd get to season 4. But when the vibe's right, the conversations are good. It's easy. It's a lot easier to talk about things you're passionate about. So, and being that we are all passionate WWE and wrestling in general fans, we have made it to this pinnacle, journey. So, I thank you for the umpteen people that have been along for the ride, whether it was watching TikToks, Instagram, YouTube shorts, or watching the actual videos. So, 65 of you. So, thank you. So, so let's do as we do in regards to covering Raw and SmackDown. We're on the cusp of SummerSlam this weekend. Unfortunate things have happened over the last week or so in regards to Ozzy Osbourne, and then the following day Hulk Hogan. And I feel like no matter how you feel about him, I think he was a trailblazer in the business. And I feel like he contributed a lot to where we are to this day in regards to the wrestling business, not the outside nonsense. Just the performing in the ring, the different characters he's played, movies he's been in, stuff like that. So, regardless of how you feel, like, he did what he did. And we send our thoughts and prayers to the family, obviously, because it's still a human being. So, but we will continue the ship. We will guide you through. So Raw kicks off with a not a confrontation, but basically a talk off, I guess you could say, between CM Punk and Gunther. And I I applaud CM Punk's, nostalgic act, I guess you could say. But Gunther's gonna win at SummerSlam. Like I would say I am 10% for CM Punk and 90 for Gunther. I wouldn't be mad if CM Punk wins, and I wouldn't be mad if Gunther won. So I mean, it was a good exchange. Um, but I mean, I feel how I feel. So but so we get a run back with Sheamus and Rusev, and Sheamus finally gets over the hump of beating Rusev for the first time, and he hasn't wrestled him in a while, but obviously they had a long history. So it is good for Sheamus to start checking off some boxes of accomplishments, obviously, where he's still waiting on his IC title reign to complete his Grand Slam. So good job. One box checked off. Um, so we got a triple threat between the LWO, the New Day, and the Creed brothers, and good match. Good, honestly, a good start to finish match. Not so much of the interference nonsense, just a good triple threat match, you know. And obviously, Walking Wild and Cruz del Toro get the win in that. And I'm glad that at least New Day, after losing the belts, at least got to be in a triple threat to at least have the opportunity to get their titles back. Obviously, they didn't at this juncture. I don't think them holding the titles was really all that entertaining. Um, them with or without titles is like the same gimmick. It's the same behavior, the same egotistical egomaniacs that they are. Um, and honestly, they were trailblazers in the tag team division, but I mean, we've kind of moved past them. Being that we've had tons of new tag teams, form or come up from NXT, and so I feel like the New Day's kind of falling under the category of jobbers at this point. And it doesn't take away from their accomplishments. It's just the ship has to keep moving, and we have to keep on bringing new storylines, new opportunities, new tag teams, because the LWO really hasn't done much for the better part of the 3-4 years they've been a group. So this is good for them. And whether they beat Judgment Day or not, it's still nice to see them get an opportunity. And that's my biggest thing I talk about, is that I want opportunities for new people. But obviously a lot of the matches WWE does are just repetition, repetition, repetition. And creative is not that creative. So I wish they were. I wish they'd bring fresh ideas, but I think we can all agree that it's been very plateauish, very mid, very predictable. Like, what do you guys think about as far as creative, and kind of where we sit right now in regards to their ability to be creative?
Something's holding them back. I really don't know if it's what their partners want to see on TV, or there's some hidden injuries, or is the roster's just too stacked. Um, yeah, I really don't know, but I can agree with, we're starting to get the same usual suspects and the same usual roles. Uh, there needs to be like some changes and some things coming up so that we can get uh, newer players that have been on the main rosters for a while into some new storylines, and getting them some championship wins, getting them some TV time. Uh, yeah, there just needs to be something. There needs to be like a shift in what they're showing. Um, Not week to week booking, but like definitely like some good storylines that gets people invested.
Yeah.
I
And
totally, I totally agree with Frederick on this.
yeah.
With WWE, with their stories, I kind of can see with what channel like Netflix, they probably want certain things for their product for Raw, and I think SmackDown's on the USA. It was
Yeah.
Hmm.
the with that channel, they probably want certain things, but it's kind of up in the air. Whatever, who knows?
Yeah. I mean, and I think a lot of it, what we've gotten recently, especially with the Saudi shows go the same way every time, because
Definitely.
it's basically Saudi shows are basically PLEs that don't have strong stories. They have specific placement for specific wrestlers because that's what they want, and the Saudis are the ones that cut the check. Um, and it's kind of unfortunate that basically WWE is worried more about the money from it than the allure, but it's like it's not for us in the US. So, what Saudi wants is what Saudi gets. So, it's really just filler PLEs, I guess you could say. Um so speaking of repetitiveness, so at SummerSlam we're getting Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria again. Um I it why? Why is this entitled, like, Lyra is honestly more of an entitled brat right now than a good character. It's constantly poor me, I'm the this, I'm the that, and versus someone of Becky Lynch's caliber, that it looks better with the title on her shoulder than it did Lyra Valkyria. Because Becky is top notch, Becky is box office, and Lyra's not, and they gave her a shot, and it's okay. There's mild crowd investment as far as her her entrance music and stuff like that, but it's just not doing it for me. I wish that Bailey would have won that 2 out of 3 falls, and we would have actually been able to have that match, because it's kind of messed up that Lyra interrupts Bailey's match against Becky Lynch for the title, and then somehow weasels their way into a 2 out of 3 falls the next week versus us just running it back with Bailey and Becky because their box office, not Lyra. I don't want to see why you interrupted the match. So why are you all of a sudden now they're giving her a title opportunity when it should have been Bailey's? So that's my input. But
I kind of agree. I think they just need to bring some more people up from NXT to go for that title.
I mean, they brought up people.
I was gonna say I can't think of what's her name.
Well, Stephanie Vacquer's on one show and Julia's on the other with the United States. Yeah, Julia has the United States Championship already, and Stephanie Vacquer has nothing.
Nothing.
So, but she does have a match in Perth, though. So
yeah, so I don't mind Lyra Valkyria being in the matches and interjecting herself because we've seen that same thing Becky Lynch has done, Bailey has done. It's a recipe that they use, and I think they want to reset Lyra's character. So by having them in this match, they can probably do that. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Lyra plays the heel and then they switch Becky to a face, just so they can have something new to do with her. Yeah, I guess that's where I think they might be going. But it also plays to a bigger part of can creative come up with new ideas of getting people over and switching things?
Yeah, I mean, and at least with when they did the battle royal for a championship opportunity in Perth, that at least makes sense because you really don't know. And honestly, we could be singing a different tune, and maybe Stephanie Vacquer doesn't win, and maybe Lash Legend would have won. It gave that at least an allure of a possible, because Lash Legends has put in the work in NXT. And I'm glad that some of the NXT stars got to shine in that battle royal, just so people could get an idea of what is to come from NXT. So I mean, but it's we obviously knew Stephanie Vacquer was going to win that. I mean, as soon as it got down to a handful, I mean, they've already pushed Julia, and they obviously, and Stephanie Vacquer is a draw out the gate, and so they're doing the same thing with her. So I mean, they are kind of pushing the new stars from NXT and stuff, but in the same token, they're kind of not. So they've brought up some stars with Roxanne Perez, Stephanie Vacquer, and Julia. So they've brought some up, but they really just thrusted Roxanne to do what she's doing, and she works really well in that group. Just because of the character that she portrayed in NXT. So she got it right into a good storyline. Julia, I mean, just kind of won the championship, and that was kind of it. And they haven't done anything since. And the IC, I mean, the Women's IC Intercontinental is a story right now because of Becky Lynch, not because of anybody else. So they're trying, they're slowly doing it. Obviously, they're on to season 2 of LFG, so we'll see what becomes of that, because they have kind of let loose both of the winners from LFG on NXT right now. So, I feel like maybe some come in and some go back up. I mean, and we have the draft next year too, so I feel like anything can happen when it comes to the draft and the shift. And from one brand to the other, or from NXT call-ups. So I honestly I really do look forward to the shakeup as far as the WWE draft. So we get a weird pairing with Bailey and Lyra Valkyria versus Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, and it was a championship match, but it was you already knew how it was going to end. I mean, it's sometimes it doesn't take a wise brainiac person to know how things work in WWE, and you're like, well, we already know how this is going to play out. So,
Yeah.
now Karrion Kross has been like not even like company pushed, but somehow fan pushed as of recent. And I'm actually loving it because it's more authentic if it's the fans pushing versus WWE's pushing. And you know, the amount of fanfare he's getting right now is wild. It really is. Um because they do these little in between segments in between matches on Netflix, and he is just getting so much love right now. It's honestly kind of wild because it's just authentic. His merch sales are topping out, like, and now it's like WWE has to do something with it. And so Karrion Kross defeats Sami Zayn, but obviously it's not the end of this. Obviously we're getting this match ran back at SummerSlam, which I'm okay with. I think, you know, the ultimate underdog versus Mr. Consistent and Karrion Kross, that makes for a good match.
Well, definitely, it will be a great match.
Yeah.
So we get Io Sky versus Stephanie Vaquer, which obviously ends in a no contest, which is again no surprise, given the Rhea Ripley issues, that, you know, and everything else that's gone on, because we're obviously gonna have a triple threat between Naomi the champion versus Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and this is just repetition at its finest in WWE. The only thing is missing is Bianca Belair right now, and legitimately WrestleMania was literally just trade out Naomi for Bianca Belair. So repetition at its finest, but I think it's good. I think it's good for Naomi to face legit contenders.
Oh, definitely.
And I think I can speak for probably most people that we want Naomi to retain. You know, we want her to have a fairly decent reign as champion. You know, I'm thinking like 4 to 6 months. I feel like it's fine. I feel like that kind of would lead you into Royal Rumble, into WrestleMania, the road to WrestleMania. So maybe, you know, maybe she holds it at least till then, at least to the Royal Rumble. I want
hope
it.
so.
Because right now, this is the best Naomi we've gotten since forever.
Yeah. I agree.
The amount of just aggression she has now is just like it's so authentic, because you're like, you look at her career and the goofy, you know, the glow thing and all this happy-go-lucky character that she's been, you know, you know, been this happy-lucky character on TV and everything, and now it's like this is all her built-up frustration all into one.
I wasn't a big fan of the glow.
I mean,
You know, I didn't mind the glow. I think it was overused a lot, but I didn't mind. It was definitely something that made you remember her. But this really aggressive Naomi is really something to watch, and I really enjoy it because you don't always have to be. You know what? I don't even think, I wouldn't say like she's a heel, but she's doing heel like things. But I wouldn't necessarily call her a heel, except for her feud with Jade Cargill. Obviously, that was way much a heel issue. But like all the things outside of that, I think just really, she's like a real annoying person. Like it, just that her antics come off as just like, why are you being so mean to people? And it's like, you wouldn't pay attention to me if I was nice. It's kind of like what happened with Ron Killings. So I'm not mad about it. I would
No,
like to see
it's
her do more with this.
yeah, and it's definitely it's kind of one, like you said, it's not like she's not a full blown heel, but she's not a full blown face. Like she's almost in kind of Randy Orton mode right now, where like she's playing both sides of the table. Some of her behavior is justified, some of her behavior is not. But whatever tornado, whatever recipe they've cooked up for her, I'm enjoying it. So I look forward to what they do with her. I want them to make her as relevant as we know is all. Yeah. I want them to make her as relevant as we all know she is. It's like a tongue twister. But so Raw ends with a massive confrontation between Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, and Roman Reigns, coupled with Jey Uso, which basically is leading us to a match at SummerSlam with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso versus Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. And I love what they honestly are doing with Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Like they're putting him in these feuds as a tag team, like just all these feuds they could possibly cook up, because it's like Seth Rollins had his hand in so many situations in so many different feuds that it's like Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker are playing damage control to all of his feuds, because I love it. I love seeing someone get tsunami'd a bunch of times. I love someone getting speared, because like these are the best. Like when Bronson Reed came back, I was like, yes, finally, because he's a good wrestler. He doesn't have to do much to get his point across, and then you have Braun Breaker, who he just needed a story to interject himself into and just be himself, because Braun Breaker is being himself right now. This is like, yes, he's with Seth Rollins and he's with the Wise Man and all that sort of stuff, but they're also letting Braun Breaker be Braun Breaker. They're letting Bronson Reed be Bronson Reed, because they're both wrestlers that like fuck around and find out. Ask Seth Rollins about those 6 tsunamis. And it's fun that they've spun this web. Even Bronson Reed basically continuing to run that story back with Seth Rollins that I beat respect into people, whatever else, and like, and it's a fun full circle moment that yes, they had this feud, but it built up an insurmountable amount of respect. And so, like Bronson Reed being back with Seth Rollins is mutual respect, and I think that's a lot of what Seth Rollins has done in his career. Is you don't have to like me, but you're going to respect me. And he's done things that aren't exactly heelish or face-ish. They're kind of in that middle ground. And I like that they're doing a little bit more middle ground characters right now. But like Seth Rollins is just like, hey, I'm the architect. I'm a visionary. I want to basically be the catalyst for things moving forward and how, I want WWE to be. And honestly, he's got plenty of time to do this, so they can run this group for as long as they need to. I mean, we did Bloodline for 3 years, followed by another 2 years, or 4 years, followed by another year and a half or two, and now into the MFT situation. So like the stories can stand the test of time. And like we've said before, is that it doesn't have to always be over the top. It doesn't always have to be matches. It just has to be a segment that reminds you that the story is still going on. The tension is still building, which when you build all that tension, if it like with Karrion Kross, with all the segments, all this backstage stuff, him chirping at Sami Zayn has led us to these trifecta matches we're probably going to have, between the two. And so it's the culmination of chaos is great, because again, it leads you to a build for a match. And I think when you have great build for a match, even if it's just backstage segments and yada yada, but it gets you to a point where there's the person that's getting nagged is getting fed up, and the other person's like, fine, let's do this in the ring, and then you get to that point, and now it's great. It's even greater because there was so much build. So, SmackDown. Obviously, they had the beginning of the show, obviously, with the Hulk Hogan stuff, tribute video, whatever. So we have found our way into an interesting grouping between Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. Obviously, we've also interjected a celebrity, the one and only Jelly Roll, which I think is great. I love, they haven't really done a celebrity toss in a while, because like Logan Paul started like that, and he still kind of is just more of a part-time gimmick, but like we view him as a wrestler now, though. Like, I mean, yes, he's a social media person, but like he's proved me wrong. Like and he's proved a lot of people wrong because he's put in the work. So again, like it or lump it, like Logan has put in the work to be a WWE superstar.
Yes, he has.
So, and obviously now Jelly Roll, basically him and Randy are having a match at SummerSlam versus Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre, which I don't think we should sleep on Jelly Roll. I think he obviously won't have as much involvement in the match. I'll say he probably has 3 to 5 spots where he does something. But I like that, again, Jelly Roll, he's done nothing but be in the Performance Center. Like, he's putting in the work. You see it on SmackDown when he gave the tilt-the-whirl slam thing, whatever, to Logan Paul. Like, that ain't no easy move to do unless you've put in the work to do so. So I look forward to this match just because we're going to see how much work Jelly Roll has put in. So, yeah. So we have the Roxanne Perez Raquel thing at SummerSlam versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte, and obviously we had Raquel Rodriguez versus Charlotte Flair last week. Charlotte got the win on that. This week we had Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss, and obviously Roxanne Perez got the better of it. Pretty much just a pretty easygoing match, nothing too flashy. So now I look forward to the match at SummerSlam. I feel like this is going to be the moment when you get the most unlikely pairing to win titles in Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So I look forward to what they're going to do with that. I had a small backstage segment, which led to Jade Cargill and Chelsea Green throwing hands. Obviously, so they got the match later. Jade Cargill obviously beat Chelsea Green with pretty good ease. Obviously, here comes the Secret Harvest to do what they do as the Harvest. So, and then obviously, again, unlikely, but Tiffany Stratton comes out to fend off that, and I think that's mutual respect. I want my SummerSlam opponent to be at 100% when I face them, and I think that's all that was. That ain't got nothing to do with I like you or I don't like you. That is just mutual respect, and we've seen that, on numerous occasions for decades. So, so Cody comes out and gives a pretty aggressive little speech in regards to his match at SummerSlam versus John Cena, and I like that. I like that he made it a street fight. I like that, and it's honestly, it's just kind of ironic that he asked for a street fight and he's going to play in a movie called Street Fighter. But and what I don't like about Cody in this instance is the fact that we know he's leaving for a while to go film the Street Fighter movie. Him and Roman Reigns, I believe it is.
Yeah, Roman Reigns is in it.
So why would you build a story for a match when you know one of the competitors won't be there.
It's a great way to write him off TV. I would not be surprised if that's the direction that they go. Same with Roman Reigns. Write him off TV, have them come back. Cody comes back as a heel because he's playing this good guy or whatever have you. Yeah,
Well, they did
fine.
they did the same thing with the Miz that when what's his not basically destroyed him and basically wrote him off TV or whatever. I think it was Jacob Fatu that did that. And so they, you know, it was a good way to write him off. But it's like the irony to that is like if he wanted to go leave and go do these TV shows, then just go leave and do these TV shows. Like we're not stupid. Like we know that he wasn't injured, he wasn't anything, because obviously the Miz came back this week and obviously got in Jacob Fatu's face because he was the one that took him out of action. But it's like I feel like it's just a silly storyline to write someone off when we know full well they're not actually injured, they're not anything, and they're just going to do something else and do a side project.
You know, I think it's just history. You know, it's what's always been done. So for us to think like, you know, oh, they're not injured, they're going to go do some other projects and stuff like that. How come they can't say that? Well, some people don't follow, you know, other outlets to find out what's happening to their favorite WWE superstar. So if they're written off TV and then they go and do this other thing and they come back, it's like, you know, there's something there for them to do. If, you know, the Miz just like, yeah, the Miz just said like, you know, I'm out of here or whatever have you. And, you know, with no explanation, it probably would go over the exact same way. It's like, oh, he's just not being utilized, or why is he not on TV or whatever have you. So
it's
just one of those
kayfabe.
things. Yeah. It's, you know, the whole kayfabe stuff. So I'm not mad about that. What I think could be done is newer ways of writing off superstars for outside projects. Right. You know, I think what Drew McIntyre has recently done, because he's currently stuck outside of the US and he's got SummerSlam coming up here very, very quickly. For him to put out, you know, a video message about, you know, the reason why he's not able to get back in the US, you know, blames it on Jelly Roll, and it builds up their feud. And so I think it's a new way of using kayfabe to bring credence or credibility to the stories that are happening in the WWE and in pro wrestling, for that matter. So yeah,
I totally agree.
Yeah,
I just watched the video
as long as it's done right. I mean, and you know, honestly, like sometimes they miss the mark, sometimes they do it very well. It's just, you know, I feel like creative needs to get a little bit more creative. They're cooking from the same Martha Stewart cookbook for decades. Like,
right.
You know, throw something new in there, toss a wrench in something, you know, do something different besides the same repetitive recipes, you know, make some new recipes, man. And if they don't work, then you don't use them again, but at least try and see what sticks.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously like the whole out of the country thing, obviously that's them attempting to be creative. Like, you know, I mean, because the only problem is there's been situations where it's actually been legit. So like,
yeah, I mean,
you don't know the validity of it because it's spun so well that you just don't know. So,
you know,
we'll find out on Friday if Drew shows up.
You know, I think it's a fun way to address a real problem, you know, because, you know, there are a lot of immigrants that are working in the WWE that have been longtime fan favorites that could run into the same issue. So for them having for Drew McIntyre, for him to like put this out there, it works. And maybe creative isn't the only way that you can find a solution. You know, maybe that solution comes from the superstar themselves, uh, to handle certain issues or to get a story from one topic to another. So yeah, you know, maybe it's
Hey,
not just
Drew's
creative.
great at making
Yeah.
his own stories with his Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the thing is too, is that like, 25 years ago, this wasn't a thing.
Nope.
Like, and I
Correct.
think, the emergence of, social media and wrestlers being very active on their Instagrams and their X or Twitter, whatever you want to freaking call it.
I still call
Um,
it Twitter.
yeah,
I'll never call it X.
just seems weird.
It's just stupid.
It's more like
Yeah.
why. It's more like why.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
But so SmackDown, so they had match last week in regards to number one contenders for a title match for the Wyatt Six, and Andrade and Rey Fenix won that and had basically awarded a match against the Wyatt Six this past Friday, and what started as just a regular match obviously ended in absolute chaos. And honestly, like the fact that okay, so basically all DIYs coming out and the plethora of other tag teams, which basically led them to Nick Aldis, the GOAT that he is, decides to make a 6-pack TLC match at SummerSlam, which that is now the match that I'm looking forward to.
Same here. Hopefully, they might start it at the main of the beginning. I'm hoping they don't. I see that being like maybe the third or fourth match.
Yeah, I
And
mean we have 2 nights, so I mean I don't know how they're gonna play it, but as of now, I mean they do have 12 matches, and 9 of them are championship matches, which we talked about beforehand. Is that there's more championship matches on this SummerSlam 2-night card than there was actually at Wrestle Freaking Mania.
I
And
think this is the most matches they had at a pay-per-view in WrestleMania, I think.
yeah, well, no one's have 2 nights. I mean, this is the first time someone's having a 2-night. But yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of laughable that they have that all of a sudden, because your first time doing a 2-nighter, all of a sudden you're just pulling these matches out of your ass, and all of a sudden now we have 9 championship matches. Let's freaking go. I'm all for it. Like, clearly Night of Champions didn't do anything for champions.
Never
So
was.
so that was the most lackluster show PLE that I've seen in years, as far as championships go. So the fact that they're trying to blow this thing out of the water with the first 2-night SummerSlam, and they've done a good job building all of these matches over the course of the last, like, pretty much since WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they've done a great job at building these matches. Yes, some of them are repetitive. But at the end of the day, like, we're gonna see 9 championship matches, which is insane. Really is. Like, I mean, you think of an average PLE having like 3 to 4. So, I mean, WrestleMania had 8 out of like 16 matches, or 15 or 16 matches. So, like, this is on that level, if not better, honestly.
I was gonna say they might keep going if after this SummerSlam, and if it goes well and it goes great, they might keep it 2 nights.
And I think that being the biggest party of the summer, I think it's very fitting that you take it up a notch, and make it truly the biggest party of the summer.
You
If
know,
they
I,
want and on top of it, they're gonna have it as the biggest party of the summer. WWE, listen, lower your fucking ticket prices
Mm,
for real.
yes.
I've been to plenty of wrestling shows. They're constantly were say $72 for just for the freaking floor seats, and now you want to be 100. Now for like a pay per view, I seen they're selling tickets for front row, and I think front row, the first 3 or first 4 rows, $40,000 fucking dollars. That's a fucking payment for a house,
That is a
Yeah.
car, or something.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah,
are
it's
ridiculous.
and
This
the
is
thing
not a
is,
UFC show.
and the thing about the thing about the ticket thing, like it should be first come first serve.
Yeah.
Like if you snag that shit, then you snag that shit. But don't
Yeah.
make it so unobtainable to the average person. And I'm sorry that TKO is in fucking debt up to their freaking eyeballs, and WWE has to be the savior of it all because UFC is kind of now. So
Pretty
like,
much.
you know, and so man, let's
Let's
rant
say,
about
yeah,
it, man.
UFC.
Yeah.
I haven't watched UFC in a while because it's
I've
constantly
been-
it's been going downhill.
yeah, it's again,
Some of the matches has been great. Some are
yeah, it's kind of mind blowing that we've like, and then it's like the sponsorships too. It's getting out of hand.
Yeah,
Like
you would think with all the sponsorships that they've had that those ticket prices would have not, have not gone up so much in the past few years.
this is just my opinion. Maybe some other people probably agree with me. I think for the sponsors WWE has, I think us fans are paying these sponsors with the fucking tickets that we're buying, we're spending.
which seems
Our money.
Which seems it's like going to a store and they ask you, would you like to donate to the cause?
Pretty much.
And all that is doing is that the company has already, the Walmart, the Target, the Myers, whatever, is already paid. I've already cut that check. So they're trying to get their money back from asking you to donate. So you think you're doing a good thing, but you're not, because the company is rich and they already sent the check.
Yeah, pretty much. We're just paying the company back the
Yeah,
money that they spent.
I mean, and I'm honestly at the point where it's like, what's next? What the wrestlers are gonna start putting sponsorship on their clothes? I mean,
What Brock Lesnar did.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and
yeah.
I've noticed lately that they're like, it's so over the top with sponsorships that it's like the ring is like surrounded by Slim Jim on the LED boards, and it's just so over the freaking top.
Plus, you
Like,
still have fucking Logan Paul's prime drinks on the fucking ring posts.
like Vince
the
would have
the
never let this
cushions.
happen. Like, as much as we despise the controversy that is one Vincent Kennedy McMahon, he would have never let this shit happen. He would have never let TKO buy him. He would have never done any of
Well,
this.
that's the thing. He did let this merger go through and form this super company that in all
He pretty much had no fucking choice
Yeah.
because he was
He
in
was-
a pickle because of the bullshit he's did.
yeah,
that's
I
the
mean,
thing is too, is that like,
it's
if the
wild
if
that
the
that
controversy
it's gone
wasn't
down
there,
like this. Like,
yeah, it's
If he didn't
worse.
do half the crap he's done in his lifetime with
Yeah.
certain superstars or staff members,
we're like
we
the
would
fans are the
still
ones
have-
paying for all of his mistakes.
pretty much.
yeah,
And it's like we're on a slippery slope of, well, we had to do this, and this because of him, and he had to do this because he was doing whatever. And so like, I feel like they're really killing the fans, and like, not literally, but like, and they're killing our pocketbooks because of their decisions.
Pretty
And
much.
and paying some of these wrestlers top tier money when, yes, they're a draw, but they're not there. So then, like, so because you want to pay X wrestler $10 million a year when he's there not even 10 dates, and then we're gonna suffer for it because you guys
And plus,
because
you got
well, pay me, pay me what you owe me crap. Like, I mean, it's really laughable. Like, if you're not in the company, legend salary, give him 500,000. Drop that shit down, because guess what? They probably don't need the money, and you could save
That's
some
good.
money,
Paul definitely
trim
doesn't need it.
trim some fat, like, because the fans are suffering for it. And not that truly they honestly are, because if they put those there, fans are dumb enough to pay it.
Oh, you
So-
got that fucking dude who, Mr. Green shirt, who's constantly in the front row, same spot.
Yeah, I just
Same
I
thing
just
with
think
Mr.
it's
Brock
wild.
Lesnar guy.
It takes away from the average fan wanting to go to a big event with, either with friends or taking their kids, and it's just bad. The prices are ridiculous, and the people that can afford it obviously are a hearty few, but I just think they're punishing everybody else for their choices.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I will go to these shows. I won't pay the arm and a leg for to get down towards the lower bowl or fucking floor seats. I'll throw my ass up in the nosebleed section. Still good enough for me.
Well, yeah, especially at Van Andel. There's not really a bad seat in Van Andel, so
We had some decent seats when we went to WrestleMania 38.
yeah. I mean,
Well,
we ha- we ha-
night one
we
we
ha-
had some good seats.
yeah. I mean,
We
we moved
moved.
around. We moved. I think we moved for both nights but like that screen was so
Oh.
big in Texas.
No, we did. We stayed in one spot on night 2 because night 2 was pretty filled.
Packed.
Night 1 was half empty.
We had good seats at NXT Takeover, and we had
definitely.
we had
We had
nosebleed
for
sections for
SmackDown and Hall of
Hall of Fame. Yeah, but I digress. We all digress.
Mhm.
We will I don't know if you guys want to live stream for night 2 of SummerSlam or not next week, or unless you want to record early or something. But
It don't matter to me.
yeah, so but either way, we'll be here next week as we do, either 2 of us or 3 of us, but some of us will be here. We will
Yeah.
But we'll put a pin in this, and we'll obviously kind of see what becomes of the rest of the SummerSlam card. And we'll wait and see. Maybe SmackDown, Raw, maybe we get another couple matches or something. I don't know. We're at 12 right now,
I think they will.
so just wait.
At least maybe one.
Yeah. So this is the Lockdown Podcast. Peace.